from your local election headquarters. This is Politics Today with Jackie Kingston.
Hours of discussion in a Potter County courtroom on Thursday considering the Civic Center renovation project, the latest on the legal proceedings between the city of Amarillo and Alex Fairley. And last week, Amarillo ISD passed several items to improve Austin Middle School, along with safety and security measures. We have the latest. Good morning, everyone. We have lots of school-related news this week as we start thinking about the next school year. We'll have that coming up in just a moment, but we want to start with an update on a story we've been following about how the city plans to pay for needed renovations at the Amarillo Civic Center. The story taking another step forward this week as legal teams for the city of Amarillo and businessman Alex Fairley were in a Potter County District Court on Thursday. They met for about 6 hours total, discussing whether Fairley should be forced to pay for delays in the Amarillo Civic Center construction project. No decisions were made regarding the city's security against motion, which is asking the judge to force Fairley to pay to cover the increased costs. This comes after Fairley filed a suit against the city, questioning the legality of their use of more than $260 million in anticipation notes to pay for the Civic Center project. Politics Today's Kaylee Green kicking off our coverage with details about what it all means moving forward.
Initially, the city of Amarillo had requested Alex Fairley pay $5.9 million to compensate Amarillo taxpayers for the increased costs. They attribute that to inflation, fluctuating interest rates, and increased construction costs. Thursday, it was Fairley's legal team's burden to prove that it's more likely than not that they will prevail in their case. The judge says that hearing came down to two questions. Should Fairley be required to pay that bond? And if so, how much? Fairley's team claims there's no evidence the delay in the project comes from his lawsuit against the city. They claim it comes from the Texas Attorney General's lack of a decision on the legality of the city's use of anticipation notes in the project. Fairley's team also claims the city violated the Open Meetings Act because the agenda on May 24th outlined that tax and revenue notes would be used to fund the project. In testimony Thursday, the city clarified the notes were just tax notes pledging property taxes, not other revenue sources.
Any other comments on the process moving forward from here today?
No, we have confidence in it. We feel really good about how today went.
In its closing arguments, the city of Amarillo said the agenda was clear and the Civic Center topic was clearly being discussed, citing the number of people who spoke against the project at the time. Officials from the city's legal team stressed that the evidence shows there's no real question the city followed the Open Meetings Act. In a statement on Monday, Amarillo Mayor Ginger Nelson said in part, "We are seeking to protect the taxpayers of Amarillo from project cost increases that have resulted from this lawsuit." Supporters of Fairley were at Hodgetown Thursday to watch those proceedings.
Support's amazing. There were a bunch of people over there, and yeah, it's amazing. We appreciate it.
We heard from some of them at the event.
As far as building the Civic Center, it was voted on a year and a half ago or so, and the vote was negative, so we really respect Mr. Fairley and his efforts to raise this issue. A lot of us as common citizens can't afford to do that or don't have the means to do that, so we're behind him all the way.
There needs to be more communication. I mean, there are other ways to do things other than just saying, well, you don't know what's good for you, we're just going to do it. That's not how things are done.
So we did reach out to the city of Amarillo for comment on Thursday's court proceedings. They did not provide any additional statements. However, they'd previously told us that they wouldn't until the legal proceedings ran their course. As far as what's next, both parties have the opportunity to respond to this hearing through court documents by Wednesday at 5. We'll keep you updated on that. Officials do expect a decision on this specific motion by the first week of August. As of right now, the trial is still set for October. Reporter David Gay has been following this case. He was in the courtroom all day on Thursday. For his in-depth coverage, go to myhighplains.com. A few other updates from the city now. On Monday, the City of Amarillo's Solid Waste Department started cutting back on its dumpster collections. They're short-staffed and adjusting by collecting once a week instead of twice. Politics Today's Kaylee Green is back with the latest as they work to hire and get things back to normal.
The City of Amarillo's Solid Waste Department has 42 positions on its residential trash collection side, and only 20 are filled right now. With more than 18,000 dumpsters in the city, it's causing issues.
At 20 employees doing the amount that we were doing twice a week, that would make each of those drivers responsible for about 450 dumpsters apiece, which means about another 6 hours on each shift. So it just became impossible, and that's why we've gone to once a week collection.
The city's Public Works Director, Donnie Hooper, says to pick up trash twice a week, it would require at least 36 operators. Until they reach that threshold, he says cutting back on collections will improve their work-life balance.
We've recruited, we've done everything that we could to get positions, and we're going to keep doing that. We're going to continue to recruit until we reach the goal of 36, that we know we can go back to twice-a-week collections, and we'll pick it right back up where we left off. But some of these drivers have not been home to their families in a long time. At the end of the day, they come 10, 11-hour shift every day, getting a little old for them.
15 drivers are running trash collection routes and 5 are working as rovers to help where more attention is needed. Hooper says people with Class B CDLs are welcome to apply.
And hopefully we can get some employees here. We hope this is short-lived. I mean, we want this to be very short-lived, and we want to fill those positions, get, number one, put people to work, and number two, get our services back.
If you're interested in working in solid waste, Hooper says they're also hiring for Class A CDL drivers to drive transfer trucks from their station to the landfill. He also says the city of Amarillo has a CDL training program available. Hooper says if you need help with overflowing dumpsters during this time, give them a call at the Solid Waste Department. The city of Amarillo has also asked residents and businesses to follow Stage 1 of their drought contingency plan. This happening on Friday. Stage 1 of the plan includes voluntary outdoor watering. Odd-numbered addresses may water on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Even-numbered addresses may water Wednesdays, Mondays, and Fridays. Residents are asked not to water on Saturdays and to water lawns between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. Those are not mandatory restrictions on Stage 1, but the city says if residents can follow this voluntary schedule, it will help decrease the daily demand for water. An Oklahoma town is calling for a state of emergency to help control outdoor water usage there. Guyman's mayor, Kim Peterson, made a proclamation authorizing the state of emergency. As of Wednesday, customers of the Guyman municipal water system are prohibited from using water for outside watering until further notice. Officials say the city's municipal water system has reduced capacity to meet the needs of customers on this new water system. The Amarillo ISD Board of Trustees approving several measures to improve safety and security at their campuses last week. Coming up, we're taking a look at those improvements that the board is hoping to make. I'm Jackie Kingston. You're watching Politics Today from your local election headquarters. A packed agenda for its regular meeting on Monday, including the Austin Middle School shoring project, several other renovation projects, and safety measures. All agenda items regarding Austin Middle School passed, with board member David Nance recusing himself, including contract amendments for the shoring project. That includes a smart jack system that will help support the foundation of the school. The original shoring would have been for 3 years in the most critical spots, covering 5,000 square feet, but the project that passed this week will cover 37,000 square feet in critical and moderately damaged spots.
This is a 71, 72-year-old building that has served Amarillo ISD well. Thousands and thousands of students have gone through that, and we would love to see Austin Middle School remain and serve more and more students throughout the next decades. And so for that to happen, we have to have a permanent solution, and the shoring up is not permanent.
Amarillo ISD says it can now finish renovations that were started in 2017 on the first floor to the bathrooms and locker rooms. The Board of Trustees also approving several safety and security measures, such as selecting an architect to design concepts for perimeter security fencing for all middle and elementary schools. The board hopes the project will progress by spring, installing solid core doors in classrooms across the district. This would replace almost 2,700 doors with windows at a cost of more than $800,000. They also passed a measure for classroom function door locks at a cost of more than $400,000. The board pulled a measure allowing access control to classroom doors across the district because it needed clarification of cost.
There are many things that we've implemented over the last 5 or 10 years. It's been a goal of this board for the last 3 years. How do we improve safety? And so all of these things have been on the drawing board and starting to be implemented.
They also approved the installation of air conditioning in elementary school gyms as another safety measure at a cost of $290,000. In Uvalde now, hours of new body camera footage show the chaotic response to an active school shooter there, raising even more questions about why it took so long for officers to confront the gunman. We do want to warn you before we show you any of this footage. It is disturbing and it's difficult to watch. Uvalde's mayor released body cam video from 7 Uvalde police officers showing a clear sense of urgency that turns into confusion and ultimately inaction. The footage revealing that minutes after the gunman entered the classroom at 11:33, officers were uncertain of who was in charge and what to do. And we do see footage of officers rescuing children from other classrooms, sending them off running in a panic. Families in Uvalde say they're having trouble getting money from funds set aside to help them deal with losing their loved ones. Last week was the first of a series of town halls to talk about how some of that money will be distributed. The DA's office in Uvalde had been overseeing that money for immediate relief, but according to State Senator Roland Gutierrez, a nonprofit out of San Antonio has since taken over. Some families have gotten some money, but it's not clear how much will be handed out. In a meeting last week, organizers received feedback on who should have access to the money and how it should be distributed.
That's about $14 million, and that will be dispensed to the families in November when that fund donation period closes.
I mean, obviously, I'm going to be out of work for a little while. I mean, we need the assistance now, right?
Senator Gutierrez says in the meantime, the National Compassion Fund is working to find money to give families access to cash right now. We have more about how you can donate if you'd like to help on our website, myhighplains.com. More school news coming up next. A local district switching to a 4-day school week. Coming up, the benefits for students and staff and the problem that it's posing for parents. Some school districts across the state are cutting out 1 day of school per week to deal with their teacher shortage. Politics Today's Jayla Washington tells us how it's helping districts, but might be challenging for parents.
Janning ISD in West Texas has just one school for all of its students, K through 12.
I was a coach too, and the burnout was major.
Carlton Graves is the principal of that school. He says 4 days school weeks will take a load off.
That's one of our major selling points. It's one less day. We're only going to bring the teachers in maybe a couple of times throughout the year on a Friday.
Janning ISD is now one of at least 5 rural districts in the state that's made the switch. District Superintendent Dr. Misty Haskell says it's hard to compete with other bigger districts that are paying teachers thousands more.
When inflation hits and things go up, we need to be able to find ways to compensate our teachers or offer benefit packages that will draw them back to the school setting.
The move is also meant to attract more students.
We're in a small town. A majority of our students are transfer students.
Parents in the districts that have made the change are now preparing to figure out other child care options. Janning ISD says it's working on addressing that.
We did lose a couple of students because parents working 5 days. So one of the things we want to look at is have some type of activity or be able to open our building on those Fridays so kids who don't have a place to go.
It's going to save a lot of people's energy.
The TEA doesn't currently track how many districts have 4-day weeks versus 5, but it tells us as long as the district meets the threshold for 75,600 in-person operational minutes for the school year, districts have the flexibility to do what's best for their communities. Amarillo ISD hosting a job fair this week. AISD says representatives from multiple departments across the district will be at the fair. The district's coordinator of auxiliary personnel, Paige DeBeast, says they have competitive pay, health insurance, paid leave, and holidays off.
Anyone is invited. Anyone that would like to come and be a part of Amarillo Independent School District is welcome to come talk to any of our people at any of the tables to get more information about these positions.
The fair is happening Tuesday from 4 to 6 over at Amtech Career Academy. Republicans say issues at the border are worse than ever. Coming up, why they're calling on the president to fix immigration. Republican senators say their recent trip to the southern border shows the crisis is getting worse. Their trip comes amid concerns over the growing numbers of migrants crossing the border from Mexico. Politics Today Washington correspondent Anna Warnicki has more.
We could show the pictures, but they are horrific.
Senate Republicans say they witnessed firsthand the horror happening at the southwest border during their 2-day trip to McAllen, Texas.
I've been to the border many, many times over the past decade, and it is the worst I have ever seen it right now.
Texas Republican Senators Ted Cruz and John Cornyn say it's not safe for Border Patrol, who is understaffed, or the migrants making the journey.
And it's dangerous. It's dangerous not only to the migrants that sometimes become injured or sick and die en route to the United States, but it also provides a channel of illegal drugs.
The group of Republicans say any solution needs to come from the White House. The senators are putting pressure on the president to change his border policies and visit the border himself.
You cannot see what is happening there and defend it. It is indefensible, the misery, the suffering, the death.
Democrats, including Texas Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia, say Republicans are painting the wrong picture.
I'm from South Texas. I don't see an invasion. When I go home, I'm not afraid. I don't think we're going to be invaded.
Garcia says Republicans are using the border as a distraction from other issues like gun violence. In Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki.
Our bureau in Austin caught up with Senator John Cornyn after the trip and asked if he's reached out to administration officials to come to the table. He says he's already tried to work across the aisle with the Bipartisan Border Solutions Act, but the measure is stalled since April of last year.
I've tried to do everything I know how to do. There may be some other things that we could do on fixing the asylum system, but the administration could end catch and release today and request the resources from Congress to provide for those detention facilities, and it would have a dramatic impact, a dramatically positive impact on what's happening at the border.
In other border-related news this week, the U.S. Supreme Court just decided to not let the Biden administration implement an immigration policy that prioritizes deportation based on immigrants that pose the most public safety risk. The policy had been blocked previously by a federal judge in Texas, but the High Court only refused to restore that policy and says it will hear arguments on the case's merits in the fall. As heat waves tear through the United States, President Biden is taking new actions on climate change, announcing executive actions aimed at dealing with extreme conditions. Politics Today Washington correspondent Hannah Brandt has details.
Wildfires, droughts, tornadoes, and hurricanes are getting worse.
It's astounding the damage that's being done. And this crisis impacts every aspect of our everyday life.
President Biden is now directing FEMA to spend $2.3 billion on helping communities build up resilience to extreme weather. He's also expanding offshore wind energy production and building on a program to get air conditioning for low-income families.
The health of our citizens and our communities is literally at stake.
Still, he wants Congress to do more, and some Democrats don't need any convincing.
I believe climate change is an emergency.
But just days ago, Senator Joe Manchin pulled the plug on a plan to pass a more ambitious climate agenda. Republican Senator Josh Hawley says Democrats' green policies are already hurting the country.
$5 or more a gallon for gasoline, inflation totally out of control, our jobs going overseas because nobody can afford to produce anything in this country.
And Senator Ted Cruz says the Biden administration should devote more attention to immigration.
The same amount of time they devote to the weather could be devoted to the human slavery.
But the president believes that climate needs to be a priority because if we don't reverse the damage soon,
we lose it all. We don't get to turn it around.
Many Democrats and activists are urging President Biden to declare a national emergency for climate change. An emergency declaration would give him more power to use federal resources for things like renewable energy programs without having to get congressional approval first. The president didn't do that last week, but his administration says he is still considering it. Other political news this week that we wanted to let you know about. Texas gubernatorial candidate Beto O'Rourke is taking a 49-day tour across Texas. He's making a stop here in Amarillo. Now, unfortunately, he's holding the town hall Friday night. That's after the time we taped this show on Friday. But to see our full coverage from the event, we do plan to be there. Go to myhighplains.com. He's also hitting some other High Plains area towns. You can check out his full schedule on our website. We'll wrap things up right after this. Despite testing positive for COVID-19, President Biden resumed his duties, including speaking by phone with his national security team this week on Friday. That story in our This Happened. On Friday, again, when we record this program, according to the president's physician, President Biden still experiencing a runny nose, fatigue, and the occasional cough, although his temperature, blood pressure, and respiratory rate was all normal. The president responded well to treatment, they say, and is expected to make a full recovery. Biden is both vaccinated and boosted against the COVID-19 virus. Don't forget that you can follow along with us on social media. I'm on Facebook. You can find me there. Plus on Twitter, Jackie Kingston plus the #1. I love your feedback. You can also stay up with the latest political news with us throughout the week on myhighplains.com, where we post our full coverage throughout the week and throughout the High Plains of all the things happening in our neck of the woods. Hey, don't forget to register to vote if you plan to vote in the midterm elections. You have to be registered by around October 1, so get ready for that and go to our website for more information on that as well. Thank you for being here. Thanks as always for watching. I'll see you next week.